Talkin' Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
And by Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to our show number 1082.
An installment that belongs in large part to the red-winged blackbird by way of a sign of spring audio postcard from St. Paul, Minnesota. And if time permits, through a clever use of that bird song by folks from Denver Audubon, and by association with Mike O'Connor's recent visit to Congaree National Park in South Carolina. And we'll hear another audio postcard about another kind of blackbird, also from South Carolina. What else? Well, we'll visit the Talkin' Birds Science Corner with our Debbie Bleacher. And as part of our Gardening for Birds Month, we'll update our Name the Talkin' Birds Garden Frog contest. Well, here's that Not a Red-Winged Blackbird audio postcard. It's from Layton Register.
Hello, Ray. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, listening to some other blackbirds that like to sing some crazy songs. It's the boat-tailed grackle. It's a gorgeous day here in Charleston, South Carolina, Ray. Thanks for all the great work you do on Talkin' Birds.
Thank you, Layton, for those kind words, and for that boat-tailed grackle. Now some signs of spring from about 1,300 miles northwest of Charleston in east-central Minnesota.
Hey, Ray, it's Chris Holson in West St. Paul again, listening to another pond wake up for spring. The red-winged blackbirds are calling. There's cedar waxwings in the trees. Just saw a non-bird, really nice muskrat, just slip in to the water. Pond's still kind of frozen over, but everybody's waking up. Happy spring.
Happy spring to you, Chris. Thanks for that audio postcard. I hope I've got an ice out going on there since you sent that postcard a few days or actually a week and a half back, I guess. Want to give another plug for the Georgia Bird Fest, part of the big 100th anniversary of that great Audubon chapter, now known as Birds Georgia. The Bird Fest runs from April 10th to May 10th, with dozens of indoor and outdoor events, birding trips, and all that. By way of an update, registration for the festival is now open to all. And you can get all the details, and you can register at this address, birdsgeorgia.org. By the way, when we talked with Birds Georgia's executive director, Adam Betchuel, here on the show a few weeks ago, one of the birds he mentioned as a Georgia specialty is the red-cockaded woodpecker. And they'll have several walks in red-cockaded woodpecker territory. So we figured this might be a good time to make that bird one of our featured feathered friends, and we'll do that on today's show. Meanwhile, our Name the Talkin' Birds Frog contest is continuing onward here. A little frog music there. We're inviting everybody to suggest a name for our frog. It's a foot-tall sculpture in a bird-watching pose, looking through binoculars while a bird is perched atop one of the binocular barrels. You can see a picture of the frog and the bird right now on our talkinbirds.com website. And if you click on the Get Involved tab at the top of the page, you'll see how to submit your suggestion for the name of the frog. We've assembled an astute panel of judges who will choose a winning name based on the cleverness of the choice and its potential memorability. Well, there's a pretty nice incentive for you to enter the contest because the winner will receive a Vortex Diamondback HD angled spotting scope. MSRP about $600. The scope offers features like these: high-density, extra-low dispersion lenses with a Vortex XR coating on all lens surfaces, dielectric prism coatings, a helical fast-focusing mechanism, glass surface protection through Vortex's ArmorTech coating, a built-in sunshade around the objective lens to reduce glare and protect the lens from rain and snow, and a rotating tripod collar that provides viewing angle flexibility, and it's all wrapped up in a durable weatherproof design, and also includes a scope case, objective lens cover, and eyepiece cap. Whew, that's a lot, and that's our prize in our Name the Talking Birds Garden Frog contest. See the frog at talkingbirds.com, no G in talking, and click on the Get Involved tab there, that all-purpose tab, to find the contest and to enter the contest. And that there is our mystery bird. The contest a bit later, getting you ready for it now. Our mystery bird is a small songbird, gray above, whitish below, with peach-washed flanks and a spiky black tuft on its head. Our bird forages in trees, sometimes upside down, for insects, spiders, and snails, as well as for berries and seeds. It's a resident species from the southern edge of Oklahoma through central and southern Texas and down into Mexico. A little bit about the bird on our Mystery Bird contest, and we have some wonderful prizes, including this from Brome Bird Care. It's the
Mega 600 feeder.
Yeah, that deserved some reverb there. It has an extra large tube that holds nearly 2.5 pounds of seed. It's easy to clean and chew-proof. It includes the Brome seed ventilation system to keep the seed cool and dry. We're also happy to offer a $25 gift certificate for Bird Collective, your one-stop shop for vintage-inspired apparel and unique accessories. Everything from T-shirts and tank tops to bags and books, and all featuring birds. Prizes on our Mystery Bird contest coming along on our show just a little bit later. Well, we do a conservation salute kind of thing on most of our shows. Today it's the Conservation Cool Product of the Week. The product is called Clearview, V-U-E. Comes from an Australian company of the same name. So Clearview looks like regular glass, but turns any window into a solar panel by filtering infrared and ultraviolet rays through a light-sensitive film to generate electricity. The company claims that users can expect payback periods of less than a year with a product life of more than 30 years. By the way, there's a farming connection to this, too. Over the past 4 years, the company has been working with Murdoch University in Perth, Australia, installing and testing these special cells in greenhouses. The company claims that energy consumption has been reduced by 40% and that many crop species produced higher yields. Certainly sounds promising. Their chairman, Victor Rosenberg, says glass will no longer be just a component of construction, but a renewable energy resource. So our Conservation Cool Product of the Week, clean energy produced right through your windows from the innovative Australian company Clearview. And now, it's a royal salute to another Talking Birds listener helping us get the word out by becoming a member of the Talking Birds Ambassadors family. Thank you to Angela Brunetti from Charlestown, Rhode Island. Angela says that we're a morning coffee date for her and her husband. And she adds, your show is the only thing that gets him out of bed in a timely fashion on the weekend. Thank you, Angela. Your husband and I have something in common. The show is, of course, the only thing that gets me out of bed in a timely fashion on the weekend, but we do it, and that's what counts. Am I right? Well, Talking Birds listeners, please join Angela in the Talking Birds Ambassadors family by signing up today. When you sign up, we'll send you a little batch of Talking Birds info cards that you can hand out at your leisure to friends and neighbors. So to do it, it's that Get Involved tab again, right there at talkingbirds.com in the top right corner of our homepage. You'll find the easy sign-up instructions if you just do a little quick scroll down there. That's the Get Involved tab at talkingbirds.com. Still to come today, we'll learn about how birds prefer certain colors for their nesting materials in a visit with our Debbie Bleacher in the Talkin' Bird Science Corner. Also today, Mike O'Connor will join us for Let's Ask Mike Live and a report on his recent visit to Congaree National Park in South Carolina. And up next, it's today's featured feathered friend, presented by the bigger and better BWD magazine, with each large format issue packed with beautiful photographs and illustrations and in-depth articles. Experience birds up close with BWD at bwdmagazine.com. When folks first hear about the red-cockaded woodpecker, their first question is often, what's a cockade? We'll get to that in a second. First, a description. The red-cockaded woodpecker is robin-sized, mostly black and white, with a short, thin bill, a large white cheek patch, and a black malar stripe or mustache enclosing the lower border of that patch. The back has broad, horizontal black and white bars. And then there's the red-cockaded part. The cockade is generally described as an ornament or a decorative ribbon, and the word applies to our bird for the thin, hard-to-see red streak at the upper edge of the male bird's cheek. Red-cockaded woodpeckers forage on and under the bark of pine trees for the adults, larvae, and eggs of insects and other arthropods, and also feed on pine seeds and wild cherries and other fruits. Males mostly work the branches and upper tree trunks, while females tend to focus on the trunk below the lower branches. According to the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, the red-cockaded woodpecker evolved in old-growth pine forests of the southeastern U.S. that were historically sustained by lightning-triggered fires every 1 to 5 years. Because the red-cockaded woodpecker depends on those old-growth forests for food and habitat, it's been vulnerable to clear-cutting, forest fragmentation, fire suppression, and conversion of longleaf pine forest to less favorable slash pine forest. The good news is that in 2024, after 50 years of collaborative conservation work supported by the Endangered Species Act, population increases of the species led the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to change the bird's status from endangered to threatened. By the way, that Georgia Bird Fest mentioned earlier will offer some good chances to see this bird, Leucanotopicus borealis, today's featured feathered friend, the red-cockaded woodpecker. Welcome again to our show number 1082. We're about to find out something pretty fascinating, I think, about birds' kind of style choices in choosing materials for their nests as we enter the Talkin' Birds Science Corner with our Debbie Bleacher.
Come up to the lab and see what's on the slab.
Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning, Ray.
So when we think of colors related to nesting birds, we think of eggs, of course. I believe you're here to tell us about new research concerning the colors of material chosen for the bird's nests.
Yeah, a really clever experiment from the Department of Psychology at the University of Alberta shows that peer pressure can influence zebra finches when they build their nests.
That sounds so human, like people influencing each other's fashion choices. Well, how do the researchers figure this out?
Well, the method was so elegant that it made me go, duh, when I read it. But before I describe it, I have to mention that zebra finch males do most of the nest building. They get some input from their mates, but the males make most of the decisions, so the color decisions were mostly up to them. In the first step of the study, the researchers had to figure out which male finches preferred which colors and by how much. So they measured each male's color preference by presenting him with blue and yellow string. And then they recorded how long he interacted with each color. They assumed the color he spent the most time with was the one he liked best. Some males spent a lot more time with one color than the other, and others spent only a little more time.
So some males had a strong color preference and others had a weak one.
Right. In the second step, the researchers introduced the males and their female partners into a population of other zebra finches that had completed their nests. In some groups, all the nests matched the observer male's preferred color, and in other groups, most or all of the nests were not the preferred color. The observer male got to watch these pairs and their nests for several days.
So the male has a color preference, and he's watching nests that either are or aren't his favorite color. Then the third step?
In the third step, the observer males got to build their own nests. Each male had a choice of both colors of string. Males with a strong color preference tended to stick to that color even if they'd seen only nests of a different color during the observation period. Meanwhile, males with a weak preference were more likely to switch to the color that they saw.
So those with a strong preference stuck to it, and those with a weak preference might not? That seems to make sense. But was there any indication that the males even noticed the other nests during the observation period?
Yes, and that's where it gets really interesting. Often, when it was time to build their own nests, males would first touch the color of the nest that they'd observed, and then they'd change their minds. They'd go back to their preferred color, kind of like a teenager at the mall who buys the clothes they like, even though all their friends are buying something else, and that's what they first go for.
Oh, yeah. So these zebra finches are aware of the social convention, but aren't following it.
Exactly. They are not conforming.
Really interesting. So, Debbie, do you think this study has implications for human behavior?
I think it does. I think the research demonstrates that culture spreads when everybody does the same thing. A simple example might be those teenagers at the mall. So they all dress alike unless some of them buck convention and do what they want to do.
And maybe a more diverse array of clothing stores will stay open, allowing more people to buy more different clothes.
Yeah.
For those who'd like to learn more about the research, Debbie, what's a good source?
I've seen several popular articles about it. A good one is on the website phys.org. That's phys.org. You can search for the phrase birds and color preferences. I'll put it on our social media and the website.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Debbie.
You're welcome, Ray.
Debbie Bleacher in our Talking Birds Science Corner.
And up next, our Mystery Bird contest in just 1 minute. The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com. That would be our mystery bird. The contest is officially underway. I'll give the phone number here and then repeat it in a moment. 781-837-4900. Call us as soon as you can and tell us what that bird is and win some beautiful prizes. Our mystery bird is a small songbird, gray above, whitish below, with peach-washed flanks and a spiky black tuft on its head. Our bird forages in trees, sometimes upside down for insects and spiders and snails and berries and seeds. A resident species from the southern edge of Oklahoma down through central and southern Texas and into Mexico. That's the bird, that's the sound. Prizes include from Brome Bird Care that magnificent Mega 600 feeder with the extra-large tube. It holds nearly 2.5 pounds of seed and the $25 certificate for Bird Collective. So those are the prices, and here's that number again. It's 781-837-4900. Call us, as we say, as soon as you can, so we'll have time for the contest there, and we'll have Let's Ask Mike. That's Mike O'Connor. Let's Ask Mike live in just 1 minute.
Squirrels have one mission in life: eat your birdseed. They hang, they swing, they stretch, climb, and plot their next move. For squirrels, your bird feeder is the ultimate prize. But now, they've finally met their match. Introducing the Squirrel Buster Evolution. When a squirrel climbs onto the feeder, its own weight automatically closes access to the seed, stopping the theft instantly while birds continue to feed comfortably. No batteries, no tricks, no complicated setup. Just smart, proven squirrel-proof technology that works day after day, season after season. That's why the Squirrel Buster Evolution was named Best New Birding Product of 2025 by the Wild Bird Feeding Institute. So let the birds enjoy the feast, and let the squirrels keep trying. Look for the Squirrel Buster Evolution at brome.com or at your local bird shop.
Mike O'Connor is back from his visit to Congaree National Park in South Carolina. Is here to tell us what he saw down there. Good morning, Mike.
Oh, good morning, Ray. Yeah, back. I remember last time we talked. My plan was to go to Pongo Lake in North Carolina to see 20,000 tundra swans, but my trip got delayed a bunch of times for blizzards, and so by the time I got there, the swans had left. So we changed it to Congaree National Park in South Carolina, and it was a wonderful place to visit. And a lot of people aren't familiar with this because it's a fairly new national park, and it's only 18 miles from the capital of South Carolina. It's convenient. The capital is of course, is Columbia. You knew that.
I knew that after you told me. Yeah.
But surprisingly, it's one of the least visited national parks, and which to me is a good thing. And I'll get to that. Most national parks, and I've been to a lot of them, and I think a lot of listeners have been to a lot of them. You get these winding auto roads that go through the park, and you get these vistas and mountain views and waterfalls and landscaping. You get these big lodges and cabins to stay in.
Gift shops.
Gift shops. Gotta have a gift shop and campers and Winnebagos, places like Winnebagos to stay. Congaree National Park has none of that. None of those things. They have a handful of walk-in tent sites, and that's it. And at the end of the day, if you're there, you go home. Or you go someplace else, but you don't stay in the park unless you want to hike to a small campsite, tent site. And what's good about that, and it sounds like, well, that's no good, but they've decided that this national park, which is a tract of 26,000 acres of the last remaining tract of bottomland, and I didn't even know what that was, but it's a kind of a habitat of cypress trees and pine trees that floods seasonally to the Congaree River, which flows through it, which is the reason for the name. And oftentimes it floods, so some of the trails are underwater, but if you want to go to any of these places, you have to hike. There are places where you can put in a kayak here and there, but most people go there to hike, and it's a wonderful place. It's like that kind of old-time woodland that we picture the South, kind of half swampy and Spanish moss and that kind of stuff. So we got there. It took us 4 hours to get there, so I got there about noontime. And the first thing I did is I stopped in the picnic area and had a veggie sandwich that I got at a Subway gas station.
Gourmet. I like it.
I know. But it was good. There were birds singing. I think I mentioned on the last show that I wanted to see yellow-throated warblers, and they were singing in the trees just above it. And I went to the ranger. And again, I'm thinking, okay, now where do we drive to? And the ranger says, no, you're done. That's it. You got to walk, and now I got to walk to see these 26,000 acres. So I wish I bought 2 of those sandwiches before I had that. Yeah.
Need that energy for that kind of trekking, I'll tell you. We talked about grackles, boat-tailed grackles today, and red-winged blackbirds, and red-cockaded woodpeckers. Any of those show up on your list? I know you were looking for the ivory bill, but
I was looking. Well, it's funny you said that. The ivory bill. This was. The reason why this became a national park is like everything else. It's a fight between, or a confrontation between industry and conservationists, and they wanted to take all these trees down and sell them, and the conservationists stopped it. And one of the things that stopped it when they were down there arguing whether this should be saved, this big tract of land should be saved, people heard, or at least they thought they heard, calls of the ivory-billed woodpecker, and that was enough to put everybody, okay, we got to save this because there's ivory bills there. They never found them, but it was enough to sway the voting for that, and that's one of the last places they thought it may exist, but still hasn't happened yet. But it is designated Congaree National Park an important bird area, which doesn't sound like much of a title. Everything's an important bird area, but it is. If you go there and you hike through, because it's not a lot of people, you get to see more birds. Usually you just see one of everything. This one guy, when I was there, saw 22 red-headed woodpeckers on one walk.
Wow.
So there's a lot of everything. So, yeah, go there if you have a chance. But it gets plugged in the summer, so big spring.
All right, Congaree National Park there, South Carolina. All right, Mike, you use a lot of energy on that report, so I'll let you get back to another veggie sandwich there. So get your energy back
That's
up.
what I'm going to do. Okay.
All right. Mike O'Connor from the famous Birdwatchers General Store on Cape Cod. And we returned, we have a little bit of time left for our mystery bird contest over here. Quickly run those clues again here. It's a small songbird, gray above, whitish below with peach-washed flanks and a spiky black tuft on its head. And it's a bird that forages in trees, sometimes upside down, for spiders and snails, as well as for berries and seeds. Where is it found? Well, it's a resident species from southern Oklahoma, kind of the very southern edge through central and southern Texas and down into Mexico. What is it? Claudia is in the great state of Connecticut with a possible solution. Good morning, Claudia. Hello, Claudia.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. Hello, Claudia. You heard? Hi. You heard the clues on the song and all that, I think. And what do you come up with that, Claudia?
Well, we knew it was a titmouse, but we came up with black tufted titmouse.
Did you say black tufted titmouse? That is
black crested.
Black crested. Black crested is what is. That's what you meant to say. Where is that applause? There it is. Yes, the black crested titmouse. This is a cool thing about this bird. It does an alarm call that's loud at first and then fades out. It's thought that this makes predators think the bird is moving away while it's actually remaining hidden safely in place. Yes. Pretty smart.
Yes, here in Connecticut, we do have tufted titmouse.
Yes, indeed. Lots of tufted titmouse around where we are as well. Well, let's see, Claudia, I think we have time for a bonus question if you'd like to try it.
Oh, sure.
All right. Well, for our Gardening for Birds Month, we've had several guests, and we'll have another one next week, telling us a lot about the importance of insects as part of our natural environment. Bees are a big part of that, of course. And here's a bee bonus question. According to research, a dormant queen bee can survive for how long underwater? A, 1 minute, B, 1 hour, or C, 1 week? What do you think?
Week.
One? Did you say 1 week?
My husband said an hour.
Okay. And what are you going to settle on? Probably what you said, right?
What he said.
What he said. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, because I think you said 1 hour, and that was actually the right answer. We don't have. There it is, the sad trumpet. But you won our contest, so stay on the line. We'll get those prizes to you, Claudia. Thank you so much. Claudia identifying the black-crested titmouse. That is our show for this week. Thank you for listening. See you next week.
Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
And by Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.